passing game needs to evolve a little bit to counter some of these things that teams are trying to do to you defensively.
Yeah, I agree. And if you're able to run the football more when your passing offense isn't working and you can win like that, especially early because you're not facing the same kind of competition, great. You have some time to work it out.
Here's the problem with that. What happens if Baker Mayfield in Tampa doesn't turn the ball over 4 times?
Right.
Now what?
And that's how they won in week 1. They made no mistakes.
So when you don't get short fields, when you get bailed out by the other team making mistakes, it allows you to stay with a simplistic game plan. But if Minnesota didn't play as poorly as they did, and they're scoring touchdowns when they move up and down the field,
right,
and now you're down by double digits, you can't run the ball all game. You got to throw it.
Yep.
You have to throw it. So eventually when you play some of these better teams, the passing game.
What's up, y'all? Philadelphia Eagles 2-0. Defeat the Minnesota Vikings 34, was it? To 28? Yeah. I called 33-24. So I was a little bit off. 1 point for us, a couple points for Minnesota. Whatever. Alright. So now it comes Monday, or Friday in this case, overreaction Friday and appropriate reaction Friday by level-headed ones. And gotta keep it real. Eagles got some stuff to clean up on both sides of the ball. Blessing, no, alhamdulillah. 2-0. Okay? 2-0. So, the good thing is they're finding ways to win. And they don't look pretty. But the thing I always tell everybody, style points are nice, but you can't take a style point and add that to, like, points, the final score, like in the playoffs. You can't, like, take style points now, and then when you get to the playoffs, add those style points on to lead to victories, right? No. I'm going to get into, like, different problems I'm seeing and what I think could be a way to diagnose it. But we got to keep our mind on and our focus on what's really important. And what's important here, 2-0. And also, one thing we can say for certain, the team definitely ain't peaking at the wrong time. Ain't peaking too early. You definitely say that ain't peaking too early. Ain't nowhere near the peak. Right now, team is behind. It is what it is. I ain't gonna lie about that. Jalen Hurts right now, not in mid-season form, not in last season form. There probably is some schematic reasons. You know, the new offensive coordinator thing, that's a real thing. The new defensive coordinator thing is a real thing, but focusing in on the offense, it's probably a situation where the league, you know, after studying you for a whole year, and actually 2 years now, they're going to try some different things that they feel work. And there's probably some looks that the offense isn't used to seeing. Not only Jalen Hurts, but also the receivers. Because, you know, when you talk about reading defenses, that's done on the part of both the quarterback and the wide receivers. You know, both of them are reading what the defense is doing. And to have that perfect offense that's completely in sync, you know, you need everyone on the same page. And so the league is punching. So now the job for the Philadelphia Eagles is to counterpunch. You got to duck their jab and return with a left hook. Return with a right cross. Whatever it is, that's what you got to do. So we're going to see, like, whether this team, can do that. A lot of the local people are saying there's some truth to it. I mean, it's a good thing we're not facing the so-called upper echelon teams yet. But at the same time, let it be known, they're not facing upper echelon teams yet either. Dallas just played the Giants. Like, we're not impressed with beating the Giants. We beat the Giants all the time, too. There's nothing impressive about that. All right? The 49ers played the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team we blew out as well. We're not worried about that. You know, Dallas fans out here talking about, oh, the Eagles look like trash. We only got to worry about the 49ers. Well, how about this? The Eagles ain't worried about Dallas or the 49ers. All right? Dallas is worried about the 49ers, right? Not the Eagles, whatever. That's a lie, but that's what they saying. And the 49ers is only worried about the Eagles. There is no way they're worried about Dallas because they always beat Dallas, right? Well, how about this? The Eagles ain't worried about neither one of them. What the Eagles are worried about is themselves, their own performance. And living up to the standard that they've set for themselves because, keep it real, you're still the NFC East NFC champs until someone says otherwise. And right now, 2-0, and style points don't give you extra credit in the standings. All right? I'll take 17 ugly wins, over 12 glorious wins and 5 ugly ones or 5 losses. You know what I mean? A win is a win is a win is a win, and that's the truth, especially early on. Get this stuff out the way now. Get all the struggles out the way. What really matters is who's playing the best football leading into the playoffs. We know that, right? We know that. Don't listen to the talk of people now. Well, it's showing that, Jalen Hurts isn't all that, because they're not seeing 400 yards passing every week and all of that. Listen, man, I don't care nothing about that stuff. Like I always tell y'all that stuff means nothing to me. It's dessert, on top of it's the dessert on top of a cake. You talking about how many yards you're passing for. Typically, a whole bunch of yards is indicative of a team that's in shootouts. Always say that. You know what I mean? Not to say that I'm happy with what we've seen. Of course not. Right? I'm not going to be happy until we lift in the Lombardi Trophy. So, of course, I'm not happy. And then on the defense, keep it like this with the defense. There's good and then there's some, issues. The good is our defensive line. Without a doubt, to me, still the best defensive line in the NFL. Period. Point blank. It is. The young bulls we got are monsters. Talking about Jalen Carter, already got a sack. Already making splash plays. He made a hell of a play yesterday where he stopped the running back in the backfield. He's still seeing double teams. The problem with him right now is I don't think he's getting as many snaps as he should get. We still, I believe Fletcher Cox is still getting 65% of the snaps, and Jalen Carter got to just take up the scraps after, him or sometimes I guess they put him in there with Fletcher so he's getting less than Milton Williams. Okay. The future of this team is Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter together. And I need to see, and I'm actually looking to see more of that now. That's coming though. Not going to trip too much about it, but you look at our defensive line, man, with Sweat. Reddick still yet to get his sack, but he's pressuring. Still dealing with that broken thumb on his right hand. That's real, but when you take that into consideration, I think he's doing a good job. His win rate is still very high, for those who care about that type of thing. Josh Sweat got the strip sack. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, our defensive line is still the cream of the crop, in the NFL. So, that's the good thing. Our linebackers, I thought, actually played considerably well. Considering we're missing our starting middle linebacker, I thought Zach Cunningham played a lot better than he did the first week. Nicholas Morrow was solid to me. You know what I mean? You're going up against a good tight end, Hutchinson. And I thought, Hutchinson he didn't go crazy. You know what I mean? He had the one little touchdown. I mean, Offense like Minnesota, man, especially in a situation of desperation like they were in. I mean, you're not going to just shut them out. You know, it's just not going to happen all the time. You know what I mean? The defense forced a number of fumbles. Those are on purpose. They're not like luck. You know what I mean? They're forcing them. They were on purpose. Good job in that regard. Now, the problems and issues with the defense, I think, are, again, schematic. For whatever reason, this organization have taken on a philosophy that is centered around doing all you can to prevent big plays. So they don't want the strikes, the 50-yard strikes, the 70-yard bombs, to kill us, the 40-yard ones and so on. And they focus on trying to keep everything in front of them. I guess with the idea that, the offense will eventually make mistakes. You want them doing 10 and 14-yard drives and so on. Me personally, I don't like this philosophy. I don't believe in conceding really anything except for a few situations, like when time is limited and the focus is, the team maybe has less than a minute to drive and you really, really want to guard against a big play. I get it then. But to employ that as your general philosophy, I think is a bad one. Because good teams will, and smart quarterbacks will take on a 14-play drive. Not a problem. Like, it's only those offenses that are impatient that you can take advantage of, or offenses that are not high execution offenses. But you play against the good teams, they'll take underneath stuff all day as long as they're driving forward. And then oftentimes we're going to have trouble stopping them in the red zone once they get there. So I just don't like that philosophy. But what I did see from Sean Desai was midway in the game, I think it was in the third quarter, he started to do some different things. He started to send a few more blitzes. He started to play more man. And then what happened was their wide receiver Addison beat our cornerback Josh Jobe for the long touchdown. And then, of course, after that, the Eagles got scared, so they went back to the soft stuff. And then that's when they started picking us apart, with crossing routes and stuff like that, feeding Jefferson. And those things are some things we're going to just have to clean up. When to man up, when to employ the soft zone, when to employ more of an aggressive type style zone. I just think those types of things may take a little bit of time to get straight. I don't think there is a complete defensive identity. The one thing we can hang our hat on is talented cornerbacks and a great defensive line, and linebackers who are a work in progress, a linebacker in a safety situation. But when you consider the fact that going into the game, we were without our starting middle linebacker, we were without our starting free safety, and our starting right cornerback. You know what I mean? James Bradbury, who made an All-Pro team last year. To go out there really and produce those turnovers like we did and hold them to 7 points at the half and so on, you gotta give them props and respect for that, right? If you're expecting the team to go out there and just totally shut down, a prideful offense like one led by Cousins and Justin Jefferson, I mean, I think that's a bit much. You know what I mean? So the defense, I'm saying, is okay. They're a C+ defense, right? They're not an F defense, and of course they're not an A+ defense right now. The defensive line is A+. Okay, there's a difference. What other things? AJ Brown. I wasn't that upset about the thing with exchange with him and Hurts, but he has to be smarter, because I understand the dynamic between them two. They're probably homies, so it's probably no big deal. They probably talk to each other like that all the time, as homies can. What I don't like is doing it in a place where you're visible to the media. The media is not your friend. They're not there to be your friend. They don't care nothing about you or the team. All right, the media is just there. They're individuals who are looking for stories in order to advance their personal, careers. That's all they're there to do. So they're not going to like hide any flaws that you have, whether they're on or off the field. They're going to expose everything because they feel that's their job, whether it's something that's moral, immoral, whether it's something that is indicative of a person of integrity or not. They don't care. They're just looking to advance their own personal careers. You got to keep that in mind. So even if, let's say, in reality, it's nothing between Hurts and AJ Brown, they're going to spin it as though it is, okay? And then once they put that out there, then it becomes a talking point for like Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith. Now Shannon Sharp is saying, the team has ego problems and so on. I'm like, I'm sure, what NFL player doesn't have an ego, especially great ones, you know what I mean? Just so long as it doesn't become something that hurts the team. But I am concerned about AJ personally because, he has a 4-year contract. He's still a young 25-year-old player. You figure he'd be about 28, going on 29 when his contract is up. Do they re-sign him? You know what I mean? Especially with the emergence of Devontae Smith. And does he get re-signed if, say, we don't win a couple of Super Bowls by then, and maybe they feel like his attitude doesn't fit the culture? Now that type of thing becomes a concern, and I really don't like that. AJ, you're better than that. You're definitely going to have games where you dominate. You know what I mean? Don't be the type of guy that's only happy, you don't forget about, like, Tennessee when Jalen took care of you. It made you look like the best wide receiver in the league that day. Or the game against Pittsburgh, where he constantly went to you and didn't really go to Devontae. Don't be that guy that thinks every week it has to be like that and get mad when Devontae is getting off, and you shouldn't be competing with him anyway. You say with your mouth that you're not, so show it. Really don't. You know what I mean? That I didn't like. I hope that doesn't continue. You know what I mean? But overall, man, just gonna reiterate it, man. The team has some things to clean up, no doubt about it. But much better to clean them up at 2-0 than to have to clean them up at 0-2. You understand what I'm saying? And right now, this is a team, man, that made it, to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to all of a sudden think they don't know what the hell they're doing. I think that's asinine and absurd. So, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, man. And we're going to see going forward, man. If this persists by mid-season or even week 4 or really week 5, then we got something to really talk about, man. So this is cool, Eagle fans. You know what I mean? Just keep supporting them, I suggest. And, yeah, I'm out. Peace.